that's a bunch of bull. And it may be a bunch of bull, but that deer died. Okay, that deer died, and it was laying there dead, and I missed it. And it's like, and somebody said, well, you hit it through both eyes. If I'd have hit it through both eyes with a 750 round AMAC,
you would have known that.
We would have known it.
It would have been obvious.
But it was just weird stuff sometimes happens. Hey, everybody, we're joined by Jerry Miculek. He's the fastest gun in the West. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but he's pretty damn fast.
I'm a work in progress, It's all good.
Jerry's
all good.
He's a Cajun buddy of ours, and he wound up. You've won more awards, more I guess contests, whatever you call it, than we got fingers and toes in between us all.
It's all fun.
Yeah,
I'll tell you how I got started and all that.
Yeah.
I used to hunt all the time, and then when hunting season over, it got really quiet. And I wasn't much on drowning worms. I tried fishing a little bit, but I was like, man, I got to make some noise. So I found competition, and 1976, I started shooting a little pistol competition. So here I am, making noise all year long.
Well, I'll tell you, the name of the podcast is People Who Hunt. We appreciate you watching, and the deal about it is that there are so many interesting people who hunt that we have met, and you're one of the interesting guys out there that if somebody hears your name, they see look at YouTube videos, and I mean, you got different sponsors, and I mean, this guy is like badass. He can shoot like really, really good. He's even better than I am. No, he is good. We did some stuff together here a few years ago.
Yep.
And I went out to Jerry's place, and when I walked in your shop, I was blown away about how much ammo. I thought I had a bunch of ammo. I mean,
can't have too much ammo.
No, you can't. You had walls of ammo.
Yeah, I've been collecting a while.
I mean, and the deal about it is he's got a beautiful place set up there in Louisiana, and he had these little round targets that probably 9-inch diameter round targets, and he shoots them, boom, 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 and his wife shoots, and his daughter shoots, and I mean they're badass too. But the targets weren't flat like most people's targets are flat, and you think, why in the world is that? Tell everybody what happened.
Well, you shoot steel long enough, it actually expands the front of the metal, and it bows the metal. So if you're shooting it, it expands it so that it'll expand toward the gunfire. So then you have to turn them around and beat them back the other way.
And I mean, I'd never seen that before. That's how much this guy shoots. I mean, he shoots and shoots and shoots and shoots. But let me ask you, what is your favorite caliber to shoot with? And I'm not talking about to shoot your competition with.
Right. Well, that's a big question. It'd probably be in a handgun, a 38.
And why is that?
It's just so easy to load.
Okay.
And it's so many good guns for it, and it's so accurate. It's hard to make a bad combination, and it's very flexible. You can stoke it up really hot and still be safe.
Okay.
Shoot heavy bullets, light bullets, and it's just easy to live with.
So you started in 1976 shooting?
Yep, competition, yep.
Okay. And what was it, just a little local deal?
It was a little, they used to call it a combat match. You'd put up steel and paper, and you shot for speed and time, and it was just a lot of fun. It wasn't any kind of a sanctioned anything, and it was just fun to get out and shoot revolvers and race against the other guys. And
so how many shots a year you think you fire?
It's millions. It's a couple, 2.5 million.
No, I'm serious.
No,
he does.
I was sitting on a plane one time figuring up the tonnage. It was probably like 23 tons of lead with shotgun and centerfire, and it doesn't take much with a shotgun to shoot a couple 100 pounds of lead. So you've been doing it since the 70s, 68 really when I had my first shotgun loader. So I've been So I would say it's in the 20-ton range.
Holy smokes.
Of lead. And that's, for competitive shooters, it sounds, when we shot pistol really competitively, you shoot 60,000 rounds a year pretty easy.
Wow.
You do a lot with revolvers as well.
Yeah, a lot of revolver, a lot of, 45 stuff, the heavy bullets, 230, So it doesn't take much to shoot a pound of lead. So we was always scrapping lead trying to cast bullets to feed these things. And a 38 was a little cheaper to shoot than a 45 because it shot less lead.
Well, we're here at the SHOT Show. The SHOT Show is the Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade Show. Isn't that what it stands for?
Yeah.
I think it stands for
Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade.
It's a freaking mess.
Tactical,
I mean, it's absolutely. They got us a little room in here where we got Jerry to come up here for just a little bit, and I know he's busy and scheduling stuff, but I want to talk about hunting. Okay, so I was over at his place and kind of looking around, and the one thing that I was surprised about, I wound up looking down and saw some deer horns there. I thought, nah, okay. And then remember you were sitting there talking. I said, "Where you hunt?" And he told me. He kind of blew it off. I said, "No, where you hunt?" Because I know a lot of people who hunt. It turns out I know the people that he hunted.
Isn't it close to you?
Yeah.
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 Okay. But, the thing about it is this is a small world. The hunting community is small. Okay. But what would you rather hunt than anything?
I started really the most fun I have is duck hunting.
Really?
Yeah, because I was 30 minutes from a swamp.
Yeah.
And good, you could get your P-Rog in there and take off, and shoot ducks. I didn't really realize until I got older how good it was. You know what I mean? The hunting was so good. It was so easy to get there. It was just a lot. We fished in that same swamp, that tidal swamp, So, like in the 70s when I had a full-time job, first year of work, I had 2 weeks vacation. Like, what? So I had my P-Rog on the bank. I just get over there at daybreak, get my P-Rog motorized down there, about 30 minutes, shoot 10 ducks, catch a limit of 15 bass. It was like, this is what I do,
Right.
And then hunting season over, things get quiet. So I had to find, make some noise.
So you would rather duck hunt still over deer hunt, or?
I like the aspect of duck hunting. We loaded our own shells, built our own boats. So my brother and I, it's what we did when we had off time. We were loading shells and building P-Rogs and boat trailers and airboats. And so it was like you get to hunt with family. And that really makes it even better when you have people you enjoy being around. And it just wasn't a mission, go out and have fun. We'd sink boats and, in the middle of winter, get all wet and muddy and just have fun, It was just like, it was a big playground. I didn't really, like I said earlier, I didn't really realize how good we had it and how much fun it was till I got away from it.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
So it was just fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes we didn't kill, it didn't really matter if we killed a limit or we did, we just said we went goof off and we how you just do shenanigans in the woods, cut the other guy's motor off, come by him and flip the rudder on him, drown him. Stuff like that.
So do you wind up, do you enjoy deer hunting?
I do. I got into it last, 8 or 10 years, really serious. Well, serious enough to actually know if it's how old the deer are and, stuff like that. Well, I could actually gauge other than to see a couple of points and shoot it. And then
see, I grew up deer hunting for years and years. I've been able to look at deer and tell how old they are and stuff.
Yep.
But when it gets back to waterfowl, hell, I can't tell what kind of duck is a duck if I have it in my
hard when
hand.
they're flying.
we were pretty good at it. You had a 10-point system. You had points back then.
Yeah.
So you'd pick your points and, and stay on the mark. And so you widgeon from the godwilds, from the teal and wood ducks and just the way they hear and pintail and stuff. Yeah, it was fun it was just fun.
Do you eat them?
Oh yeah.
How you cook them?
Well, that's South Louisiana, gumbo or whatever. You can make a lot of stuff out of a duck. I got it to where I would do a crock pot. I had a pretty good recipe for that.
So are you a pretty good cook?
I'm self-sufficient.
Jerry, I'll tell you what, Jerry he's an athlete. Okay, you are. I mean, you're a different kind of athlete. You've got to be in shape to be able to do what you do. And I guess the older we get, the more we realize we probably should have taken care of better shape of ourselves, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
But the thing is, I look at you and I think, man, you're slim and trim, and you still go at it. And how many days a week do you shoot?
Well, here recently, I've slacked off and did more hunting and just kind of hung out. And but this year we're going to spike it a little bit. We got the world match in Finland. It's going to be a world rifle action championship. So I've been selected to shoot on the super senior team, 4 of us, and to go to Finland and compete, I got to put some time in.
What kind of rifles are those?
It's going to be AR, MSRs or ARs, style. It's an action rifle. It's going to be fast and it's going to be furious. So the Finns usually dominate the competition. They're very good, have very good rifle teams. So going into that, I'm going to have to shoot. I do things by how many 5-gallon buckets. So I got 3 5-gallon buckets loaded for practice. And that's not going to take long to burn that up. So
how do you carry your stuff over there?
It's pretty precarious. You get a permit to go in. You get usually a permit from the country that you go to, getting ammunition in is usually harder than getting the guns in. So I'm hoping to get my match ammo sent through Hornady. I'm hoping to have a distributor there that I can import what I need for the competition.
How many times will you shoot in that competition?
How many rounds?
Yeah.
I would probably say 350, 400 by the end of the week.
I can't even imagine trying to carry that much on an airline. I mean, when we travel internationally, I think 11 pounds is the
11,
max.
yeah. So you usually try to ship it, and it usually doesn't work out. But Hornady's been very good at. They got my ammunition to Greece a couple of years back for a pistol championship we shot, and so they have a really good import export team, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. So it makes it easier if I can get it shipped, through a carrier.
So I was going to say, years ago, were you in that meeting where we were talking to Jerry asked me about that 50 BMG?
Oh, yeah. It was the first time I ever met you. It was a while back. It was probably 4 years back, and you walk up to Keith and you say, I'll never forget it. You say, you guys say your hellos and all that, and then you look at him, you go, so about that doe with the 50 BMG, I still don't understand that. And we're still trying to figure it out, but...
Yeah, Jerry, to this day, I can't tell you. I mean, it was one of those kind of deals that I'd never shot a 50 BMG before, just hadn't. Okay, and so I borrowed the rifle, shot the deer, and I missed the deer and it killed the deer. Okay, and I mean, it's like I had to put it on YouTube, and there's people that say, "No, that's that's bull." Well, it's not bull. I mean, the deer was dead, and that's just the way it is. But the deal about it is, to this day, it's still a mystery. And I wound up have taken the 50 BMG. Of course, we've shot a gajillion rounds out of it now, and I mean, I just like shooting it. But the deal about it is, we tried to recreate issues with the gun. We tried to. We shot past. I'd have a candle up, a lit candle, and shoot past it, and try to see if it would go out.
House of Cards,
yeah,
bowling
the House
pins.
of Cards. That guy does Demolition Ranch. He wound up. He called it. That's a bunch of bull, and it may be a bunch of bull, but that deer died. Okay, that deer died, and it was laying there dead, and I missed it. And it's like, and somebody said, "Well, you hit it through both eyes." If I'd have hit it through both eyes with a 750 round AMAC,
you would have known that.
We would have known it.
It would have been obvious.
But it was just weird stuff sometimes happens.
Yeah, it is. My thought was a piece of the bullet came apart and hit it.
That's what I think.
Because I noticed a phenomena with ARs. I've shot a zillion rounds, and I've been with a bunch of classes. I do military classes, and we get guns hot. We get them, you find all kind of cycling problems and stuff. But one thing I noticed with match grade ammo, when you get a barrel really hot and the throat is worn, it'll serrate the jacket, and you have lead leakage, and it look like a tracer round. And if you shoot it over a dirt road, that's very fine dirt, you can actually see little, and it'll still shoot a group at 200 yards this big, but you have pieces of bullet leaving the bullet as it goes downrange.
That very well could be what it was.
You see the difference between a match round and one that they make for the military. Military ammunition is made very heavy jacket because it has to go through sustained fire platforms that brutal hot. Guns are smoking. And a match round, and the reason it is a match round is the jacket is drawn to a lot thinner metal because you can control how you swedge it. So match ammunition is a lot thinner. That's why they don't recommend it to shoot game with, because it usually frags too easy and it doesn't penetrate. So the jacket is thin, and the core is usually pure lead because it's easier to manufacture it with a softer alloy and make the bullet accurate. So everything is for accuracy and not to be abused. So when you abuse it in a hot weapon system with a bad barrel or a rough throat, it'll actually cut that jacket. I've seen them frag with a hot barrel within 5 feet.
Really?
The bullet come out in liquid. It hit the target sideways with just a spray. If I wouldn't have seen it, I wouldn't have believed it. We were shooting M4s, and we were shooting the 69 grain high quality match ammo and some guns that should probably have been rebarreled, doing speed drills, and the bullets are disintegrating, going to the targets.
So have you noticed, I'm sure you have, that sometimes you go check the paper, it's like there's your bullet sideways. The bullet hole sideways.
Yep. That's an indication of that. But it also, if you ever seen a centerfire round, it looked like a little swirl coming out. You ever see that little leg on it? That's the bullet leaking. And if you shoot like a 22 250 with a bullet that's not engineered for a fast twist and a high velocity, it'll actually puff it. I've seen bullets you shoot and like 100 yards, it puff. Boom. And that's it. It's gone. Went to pieces.
Really?
Yeah. You spin it too fast, you get it too hot, it'll blow up going down.
Before impact, it'll...
Oh, it just leaves. It's gone.
Really?
It'll just self-destruct. It'll open up. Boop.
I never knew that.
Remember when you was a kid and you was ringing shotgun shells, shooting them like a slug?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're supposed to be talking about that on podcast.
Okay, yeah, but it's the same thing. You know, if the shell quality isn't stiff enough to hold it against the wind, one will go straight line, and the wind will open up that crimp, and it blows it up. So it just fine shot again. Same thing with the centerfire round. You get it too hot and too fast, and it's too fragile, it'll puff.
So did you, if looking back at 1976 when
Yeah.
you stepped up in that first competition,
Yeah.
would you ever thought you'd have been able to do this for a career?
If you'd have seen me shoot a pistol when I first started, you'd have said, "Why do you own that thing?"
Do you still have that pistol?
I do. I lost one in a fire, but I do have the first pistol ever.
What was it?
A Colt Gold Cup,
Caliber.
45.
Really?
Because that's what everybody shot was 45s. And what I learned in South Louisiana, it goes back to hunting too, is we're always in the swamp. You're shooting a semi-automatic pistol, you don't find your brass. You're shooting in a cane field, you're shooting in a swamp, you don't have it. So I started shooting revolver to save the brass. People think this ammunition just gets thrown at me, but when I started, we saved everything. We cast our own bullets, made our own bullet lube, made our own shot. And so to make something to shoot in that quantity, you have to have something you could salvage. And you can shoot a 38 brass probably 40 times.
So do you reload it all now?
Oh, yeah. I still load most of my match ammo.
And why is that?
I just enjoy, it's part of me. When you enjoy doing something, I'd rather load ammo than watch TV.
There you go. So what other hobbies do you have?
I got a fiddle with everything. So I'm kind of like Johnny. I keep the range going. I work on equipment. I'd rather be working on a tractor than watching TV or building something or just repairing something, So
Working on something, being outside.
Yeah, doing something.
Yeah.
I'm just a doer. I don't sit around. If it gets daybreak, I got to go be doing something. I don't sit around well.
Well, I know someone else like that.
I don't do that
as
either.
well.
I got to get up and get going.
Yeah, if I'm up at 7 o'clock, I'm very disappointed.
Because you slept in a good part of the day, right?
I know. It's like, Jesus, man, I didn't see daybreak. And as you get older, daybreak is a pretty wonderful thing.
Yeah. It's like, I got to see another one. Giddy up.
That's it. Let's saddle up. Let's go do something,
Something I got to ask you. Have you done any hunting with handguns?
A little bit.
You have?
Yeah.
I'd imagine if anybody on the planet would be good at it, it'd be you. We've been doing a lot of it recently. It's been fun.
Well, father-in-law, Jim Clark, Sr., used to shoot all the deer with a 44 mag. And he, like he told me, his first deer he ever killed 180 yards, iron sights.
Wow.
With a revolver?
Yeah, 44,
Really?
29.
It told you it could be done.
And but Jim, he told me when I was asking him about when I first married into the family, he was one of my idols, because Jim was, the first civilian to win Camp Perry championships in 1958.
So when he did, what would you do? Just kind of guess, point it up in the air and kind of guess over it and drop it on in there?
Yeah, probably so. A handgun, you can shoot really far with it if you know what you're doing. Elmer Keith, I read all of his stuff, when I was a kid. And bullet goes a long ways. You just got to know how to get it there.
Yeah, where it's going to hit.
How to get it there. And what made Jim such a proficient hunter with that 29 was his bullseye background. He told me he shot 16 deer with 16 shots.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. So that's Jim Clark. He could squeeze the trigger. He was a true marksman. I'm more of a noisemaker. He was a marksman. He was a Marine sniper, Second War. So his ability to shoot well under pressure, shooting at a deer was nothing. He was on the other side of the spectrum.
Well, we started using handguns.
Well, you've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that shot you made on that buck 90 yards with a 10 millimeter. But
if you shoot enough, you should be paying attention. Every time you shoot something, you should learn something.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, and I like watching people shoot because maybe if I can learn something from how they're shooting, why are they doing? I know when I was with you, Jerry, it's just like, why are you holding that gun like that? You know?
I was playing around with that technique back then. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like, in the world, you look so weird doing that. He says, you ought to try it. It's like, no doubt. I mean, I get it now. But if we can learn from others, and so in shooting, it's like you shoot enough, you better get good at it, or maybe go do something else, I guess.
Well, I imagine at this point, a lot of your shooting, especially competition and hunting, is instinctual. It seems to me anyway. Would you say, or?
Excuse me, it's a learned process.
Learned process.
Yeah, it's a repetition.
Over and over again.
Yeah, you know, a guy said, well, you're a natural at it. I said, no, the only thing I'm natural is eating breakfast. Everything else is a work in progress.
Hey, did you ever know a guy by the name of Leon Measures?
I can't say.
Leon Measures had a program called Shoot Where You Look, and he had it with BB guns. Mm-hmm. And years ago, and I'm sure he's passed away, but years ago, he used to, this guy was incredible. He could flip up an aspirin and shoot it out of the air. And I mean, I'm sure you've seen guys like that, you know, and it's just shoot where you look. It was just, it had this uncanny ability to be able to just, you know, I said, Leon, how do you do that? He says, well, you can point your finger. He says, you point your finger at something. Okay? Point your finger at something. He said, all it is that gun is an extension of your finger. You just got to be able to get it all together. And he just had this ability to be able to do that.
Well, most people look too hard.
True.
Focus too hard on.
They focus too hard. You know what you're talking about with that BB gun? They did it in Vietnam. If you remember the quick kill gun?
No.
They usually marketed a gun to the U.S. Army back in the Vietnam days because what was happening in Vietnam, a lot of the recruits had never had shot before. Mm-hmm. And the big mistake with military is that they are the military, standing, kneeling, sitting, prone. And when you get into combat, there's no such thing as standing, kneeling, sitting, prone. So all these guys are drilled by the drill sergeant. You miss 5,000 push-ups, run 3 million miles. You're stupid. You get into combat, you better be on the trigger, Bubba.
Yep.
So what they found out, a lot of the troops locked up and were scared to miss, and the sights wasn't perfect. They wouldn't pull the trigger, and they were dying in combat, close quarters. So Daisy stepped in with a quick kill program, their little Cub BB gun with no sights.
Yeah.
And another soldier would throw up a little plastic disc or throw it on the ground, and you just shot at it without any sights. And the civilian version of that was quick skill.
Well, that makes sense.
So you bought a BB gun without any sights, and you learn how to instinctively look down the barrel and shoot over the top. Because if you're looking at a jungle situation, you got an adversary jump up in the brush in a dark background. You got a black sight, rear sight peep, and you got a front blade that's black, and you're shooting into the black. Yeah, and these guys have been taught never miss. Front sight, center of the aperture. So you got a guy shooting at you. He's going front sight, aperture, and he's gone.
Yeah.
So
true.
They had to change.
So shoot where you look. I mean,
it is. Yeah. You learn how to instinctively see and soft focus and handle the platform, and you learn how to do those things. Military is just coming around recently, changing their doctrine on how they train soldiers.
Well, it's good too.
Isn't that crazy?
Think about this. These guys. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys that quote snipers. I think. I don't know what kind of sniper school they went to, but they're not impressing me. I mean, it's, you know, just because somebody calls themselves a sniper doesn't mean they're really capable of doing what needs to be done.
Well, we're kind of getting off of the tangent of hunting, but you know, guys who hunted when they went into the service, they were very effective in the field.
Yes, they were.
Because you had positions.
Because they're hunters.
Because you learn how to improvise shooting positions, and that's never taught to a new recruit. Like we shoot out a pickup truck to sight a gun in. I drive on my range. If I'm in my little buggy, I like it. I know where to get my knee. I can rest on the steering wheel, make a good shot. Shoot out of a truck. You shoot prairie dogs. You know, you learn how to do your elbow and use your knee. And so you've done all that. So when you get in, that's what's good about practical shooting. And what I really like about it is you never have one platform, one position. You have to adapt yourself to the situation, make it happen, got to outshoot the other guy. So it's always... Nothing's the same, just like hunting.
Well, and hunting is nice because you get maxed out at that stress level when you got that big buck in front of you, and you got to take it. And that's where I've really benefited from Keith, because growing up, I never got the chance to shoot enough to really control that buck fever. But when you can realize, like, okay, I'm going to get excited. I will get excited after this animal's down, and I'm going to make an ethical shot. That seems to help out a lot. I imagine military-wise, it help out a lot too.
Yep, it does. Yeah, so
hard to replicate.
You know, I've gone to a lot of shooting schools and stuff. There was a guy that said, "Build your house." And the very first thing you do, you build your house. And it was like, that seems so simple, and it is so simple after you've done it for so long. In other words, everybody's going to build a house to shoot off of. I mean, you use a water bottle, your jacket, a cap, a rock, a fence post, your boot, your backpack. I mean, you've got to build your house with something. And so when it comes to quick shot acquisition, hunting wise, okay, you got to build your house.
Yep.
Hey, hand me that sandwich. Think about it. Let me build the house.
You know, I had my brother-in-law, Jim Clark Jr. Do you remember the Buckmaster series where you shot out of the tree stands at the deer that jumped up? Jim could sit in that tree stand and lay that rifle, a centerfire rifle, across his leg, sideways, and look through the scope and shoot a 1-inch group at 100 yards.
Wow.
He was that flexible. You talk about build your house? Jim was like a rubber band. I'd watch him shoot. He did such amazing things. He was like his dad. You know, he could do anything really well. Because he just lay that thing on the lap. He could. I couldn't build that house.
So let me ask you: when you were growing up, speaking of a man with a gun, when you were growing up, did you ever watch cowboy movies, as I call them, westerns?
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
I did that too. What was your favorite one?
Well, westerns. I had more. Let me say. I could say like Sergeant York. You know Sergeant York from the First War.
Yep.
Westerns was make believe, but Sergeant York and people like Artie Murphy, they were the real deal. You know. Mm-hmm. Westerns make believe. You know, but it's still a good guy, bad guy. You know, scenario in the Western. But these other guys that went out, you know, and did the do, you know. Because it always comes down to the guy in the trench with a gun. You can have all the aircraft in the world, you can have everything, but the guy on the ground is what earns everybody's keep.
We wound up, I'm into that. We were at the Arlington National Cemetery this last summer, and I actually saw Audie Murphy's grave there.
Yep, I had a chance to do that too, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
It is, yeah.
And you stand there and you think, you just can't hardly talk.
Yep.
Because it's like, whoa, these guys were the real deal.
Yep. And there's so many people like that, all these Medal of Honor winners that you see, that you don't see of, you know, just like that.
You know who else buried out there? Lee Marvin.
Yep, he's a war guy. He got injured.
He did.
He had a spinal injury, yeah.
And see, that, probably a lot of people watching don't even know who Lee Marvin is.
Charles Durning.
Yep. I mean,
if you look at Charles Durning, you go, well, he's just, you know, kind of an overweight bit actor. But if you see his war record, he was in everything.
We don't have heroes in our country anymore like that. Have you noticed that?
Well, they don't want you to.
A lot of these movies they're calling them anti-heroes now. It's kind of like a glorified bad guy. On a more positive note, future family, your daughter's doing some shooting now too, isn't she?
Oh yeah. She's well, when she was young, she could shoot really good, but she didn't really pursue it much until she realized she didn't do something for a living.
No, I just met her out in the hallway, but Keith was telling me she's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. But no, Jerry's on YouTube as well. You got a substantial YouTube channel. Yep. We've watched several of your videos. They're very good. So if you're out there and you want to see more on Jerry Miculek, then definitely go. It's just your name, right? Yep. Jerry Miculek. Yep. Yeah. But you do a lot of everything from product reviews to shooting to kind of testing things out.
Just fun stuff.
I saw that Captain America video you did. That was pretty fun. Yep. So, but no, if you want to check Jerry out, is there anywhere else where you want people to watch your stuff and keep up with you?
We post. If you just Google it, you'll see us.
Well, good luck in Finland.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun match.
So you're going to be a super senior.
Super senior. I'm 1 month old. 1 month away from being a distinguished senior, which is 70. So.
Geez, so you're a little older than I am. One day, hopefully, I'll be distinguished.
That's a different category of shooter when you compete in the international. So pretty cool.
Very cool.
Well, Jerry, thank you for making time.
Oh, my pleasure, guys.
And it's good to see you. And folks, if y'all have not seen this guy shoot, head on over to his YouTube channel and check it out. I think you'll be amazed, as everybody is. But we'll get out of here. We appreciate y'all watching, and tell them what they need to do now, Johnny.
Yeah, check out the podcast. It's called People Who Hunt, and we have people from all walks of life come on here that hunt and tell us their stories. So we're going to put all that information on the screen and where you can find us, and keep checking in for more great interviews. So we're going to wrap it up and get back on the show floor.
And we will see y'all down the road. Thank you.
People Who Hunt can be watched on Facebook and YouTube and listened to on all major platforms.